Hello YouTubers, Alaska Prepper here. Well, ladies and gentlemen, all I want for Christmas is a $270 million Doomsday Bunker Complex. Merry Christmas, by the way, to all of you. I am no one to judge, ladies and gentlemen, but some people think that money will save them. And in the end, I'm sorry to say that they're going to find out a very tough lesson. Mark Zuckerberg building top secret Hawaii Doomsday Bunker with blast-resistant doors. Why is it that you think he's spending more than $250 million, ladies and gentlemen, in order to build what they're calling a Doomsday Bunker complex? Well, let's read on, and towards the end, I'm going to tell you why I think he's doing so, which is a much more simple answer than thinking that we're going to have a nuclear disaster or a nuclear conflict between nations, etc., etc. They write that Facebook CEO is building a massive underground bunker with a blast-resistant door to survive the end times. Incredible. And I believe that that's what they think. I believe that these billionaires, multimillionaires who build these bunkers, that's what they actually think. I'll tell you what, I would love to have a bunker. I would love to have a doomsday bunker because I think it would be a lot of fun. I would love to record videos out of it. And you can also use it for like natural disasters, hurricanes, tornadoes. And you can also use it like during times of war as well. But ladies and gentlemen, if you think personally that that's going to save you, come on, man. You really need to look deep into yourselves. But let's read on. New planning documents reveal a 5,000 square foot underground shelter equipped with its own energy and food supply that is being constructed. So it's under construction right now, and it's obviously going to be self-sustaining. You don't spend $200 million or more, right? You don't spend that much money on something that's not going to have everything that you need, and I would say for multiple years. Not only 1 or 2 years, probably for enough for someone to survive or a family to survive for 20 years or more. Now, that's just me speculating, but I mean, think about it. $100 million for a 5,000 square foot bunker. That thing is going to be stacked to the top, ladies and gentlemen. And this information that they got about this bunker being constructed, they got from public records. So more than likely, this actually is happening on the land that he owns in Hawaii. I'm not a financial advisor, but the folks at Genesis Gold Group specialize in helping those who want to diversify their excess wealth by converting their fiat currency retirement plans into a plan that is backed by real money. So if you're in a position where you are wondering what you can do in order to diversify or insulate your wealth against what I like to call the inferno of inflation, give Genesis Gold Group a call and they can provide you with the information that you need in order to make an educated decision. On the surface, the estate, also called Kulua Ranch, will have 2 central mansions joined by a tunnel connected to the underground bunker. Now, the one thing that they're not talking about here is the security that he's going to have. What do you think, ladies and gentlemen, if it is some kind of a cataclysmic disaster or, the world just goes crazy, what do you think that his paid security is going to do? That is a question that has been asked before. During end times, let's just say, right, where everything is destroyed, where there is no government structure, where the utilities are gone, where there's no food, no energy, all that kind of stuff, right? And you have security guarding one of these facilities that cost as much as you see that it costs here, over $250 million. How are you going to control your security? How are you going to make sure that they stay in line? I don't know. That's why I think that community would work a lot better. That's why I think that instead of spending $250 million on something like this, that I would personally spend it on the community with which I live. That way, during times that get tough, you can all stick together. And I'm not saying that he hasn't done any of that. I haven't done any research or seen any articles showing that Mr. Zuckerberg there has actually gone out and helped a lot of people in the community there in Hawaii after these fires. I don't know. But that's what I would do. I would take that money instead and spend it within my community and uplift everyone within my community, hopefully, or those that you can. That way, when times get really tough, you can stick together instead of people being envious of what you have, being angry at you for what you have, and then taking it out on you when times get hard. Because again, if you earned $1, you should be able to keep that dollar and spend it however you want. Right, ladies and gentlemen, as long as you earned it legally, lawfully, right, ethically, morally, right? But human nature says that when everything's been taken from you and you see someone else who has everything, you're going to get angry. And here they continue to say that the building documents show that the compound will be self-sufficient with its own power, food, and a 55-foot diameter and 18-foot tall water tank. Man, that is a lot of water. Someone out there that's good at mathematics, go ahead and tell us, what's the volume of that? How many gallons is that going to hold? That's incredible. Building permits put the price tag for the main construction at about $100 million, and the land was $170 million, putting it at a little bit over $250 million. But they even say here that it is likely an underestimation as far as the price goes. It was revealed by several contract workers at the ranch that everyone working there had to have a non-disclosure agreement signed, meaning that they're going to keep their mouths shut. They're not going to talk about anything that's going on in there while they were working there. And one of them was quoted as saying, "It's a fight club. We don't talk about Fight Club," said an anonymous contract employee. Another former worker said that its very strict enforcement of NDAs made anyone on site unwilling to even take pictures because they didn't want to get caught. Other billionaires have built or been planning doomsday bunkers in remote places worldwide. And we know that this has been going on for a while, and it's been something to talk about. Why are they doing this? What do they see coming? There are several reasons why billionaires feel worried about the future and are compelled to build doomsday bunkers, they say. Some of which include spillover risks of the war that's going on in the East, possible regional conflicts in the Middle East, imploding Western cities into crime-ridden hellholes, which that's happening time now as we speak, the surge in illegal immigrants across the West, and deteriorating financial conditions in the West, and the list goes on and on. Now, ladies and gentlemen, one of the reasons why I think that a lot of these billionaires, multimillionaires are building bunkers like this, it's not just to be safe from nature, to be safe from a world war or something like that they have no control over, but it's because they are afraid of the people. Because they know that they've benefited in a system that was made for them to win and for the average person to lose. Let me give you one quick example, and then you can maybe see how it is, why so many people are going to be so angry at these billionaires once they finally realize what's been done to them. And that goes all the way back to something I've talked about so many times, and that's inflation. Ladies and gentlemen, inflation makes the rich richer, and it makes the working class and the poor poorer. Why is that? I'm going to give you a quick scenario. It's something that actually I talked about here a few years back. I think it was around 2016, 2015, something like that. One of you all can look it up and leave it in the comments. Mark Zuckerberg himself, and I'm not picking on him, I just remember talking about this. He borrowed millions of dollars in order to purchase a home in Hawaii. And someone asked in an article that I shared with you all, why is a billionaire borrowing $41 billion? Why doesn't he just pay it with cash? Well, ladies and gentlemen, think about it this way. When you borrow $41 million, and this was back during the low interest rate days, I think it was around 2015, 2016. When you borrow as a billionaire, when you borrow $41 billion, the bank knows it's going to get its money back, no problem. But when you borrow it at 1%, and everyone in the government and all of these financial pundits are telling you, yeah, inflation is only 2%, or inflation is almost nothing, 1.5%. When you borrow it at 1%, that in itself, that loan that you took out for $41 million is inflationary. It's adding digits to the economy of money that was never there and is now there all of a sudden at a very low interest rate, meaning that even when you're paying it back, you're not pulling very much money out of the economy again as far as interest goes. So they borrow money, and they have in the past borrowed money at very low interest rates, and then they purchase property, or houses or assets, paintings, etc. And they know that as the years go by and those low interest rates loans that they're giving out, that is going to create inflation more and more and more, which is what's happened in the last 10 years or so. We've gotten a whole bunch of inflation. As a quick side note, since 2010, the amount of money in our economy has more than doubled. You've seen it for yourself, seen how much just food alone costs. But not only does food go up with inflation, so do home prices, so do car prices, so do the prices of art and antiques and things like this. So this gentleman here, Mr. Zuckerberg, he borrowed $41 million to buy a house at 1% interest. And now that house is probably worth twice that much. So as inflation went up, because there's more dollars in the system, the price of his house, the nominal price, went up with it, ladies and gentlemen. And therefore, now he can get more for his house than what he paid for it, paying 1% interest on a mortgage. Now, let's go ahead and turn that around. Now, your average 9-to-5er out there that is just working to make a living, to feed his family, to pay the rent, or if he or she is lucky to pay a small mortgage on a home that one day they hope will be theirs, with the exception of paying taxes for the rest of your life, but I digress. That person is working for a wage, working for a salary. What has happened to the purchasing power of the dollar in the last, let's say, 4 or 5 years? It has dramatically gone down. And has the salary of the average working person kept up with that inflation? No, ladies and gentlemen, because that's what inflation does. It makes the rich richer, and it makes the working person and the poor poorer. That's how it was designed to work when they first came out with this fiat currency called the Federal Reserve Note. It was a way of stripping you of your purchasing power, i.e. of your wealth, i.e. of your time, and transferring that wealth from you to others. And in the case of the United States of America, I can at least say that that wealth transfer was more so from the poor or the working class to the ones that were already wealthy, i.e. rich. So that's why it's important that you protect yourself. How do I protect myself? I put away any excess wealth that I have. And excess wealth can be defined as being able to purchase one silver dime. Or excess wealth for some people can be defined as being able to go and buy a 10-ounce bar of gold for, I don't know, $20-something thousand. It depends on what part of your life you're in. You can either afford to buy a dime and put it away for excess wealth, because a silver dime, ladies and gentlemen, is wealth because it's money, right? It is real money. It's got silver in it. There's a monetary property in silver, right? For the last 5,000 years. So whatever socioeconomic situation you may find yourself, I'm not a financial advisor, but I always recommend put away any excess wealth that you have, meaning anything after you're already prepared, you're good to go. In gold and silver. Why? Because gold and silver, you can go to any country in the world right now. Right now, any country in the world, and you can trade in gold and silver for whatever fiat currency they're operating under in that country. Right? Why? Because it's real money. The wealth is within itself. And the wealthy know this. And the poor and the middle class, most don't. And the reason they're building these bunkers is because when the people wake up, I'll tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, when they see their children starving and they know that there's a $250 million bunker just down the road, they're going to get very angry. So don't put yourself in a position where you're going to be one of those people that gets very angry. You have time to act now. Get your preps up now. You don't have to build a bunker of any kind. You can get your preps up and be okay to be able to at least sustain your standard of living. All right, just a bit, enough to get you through a crisis, be it a short or a long-term crisis. That's up to you. Being prepared is a way that allows you to think and not make knee-jerk reactions, because you have enough stuff put away in order to make it through a month or 2 months. My opinion, enough for a year is what you should have. It allows you to think, to say, hey, what am I going to do when I run out of the water that I have stored? But I know I have 3 months of water stored, but what am I going to do when I run out? It gives you time to think instead of acting on knee-jerk reactions where you can maybe make mistakes because you're acting more out of emotions than actual rational thinking. I know I am just going away with this, all right, so I'm going to stop talking now. I want to say again, Merry Christmas to every one of you, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you're having a great weekend. God bless every one of you. God bless America. I'm Alaska Prepper, and I am out.